In this lesson, we're going to look at simplifying surds in more detail. Now, to simplify surds, I would recommend that you memorise your square numbers, the numbers that are in this white box at the top here. 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 3s are 9, 4 4s are 16, 5 5s are 25. These are all your square numbers. So to simplify a surd, what you're looking to do is split it up into two factors, i.e. two things that multiply to make it. One of those numbers has to be a square number so that you can actually square root it. All square numbers square root. Square root of 4 is 2, square root of 9 is 3, square root of 16 is 4, square root of 25 is 5, and so on. This is how you simplify the surd. So if you think of one of these numbers that divides into 20, the only number is 4. So you put that first, root 4 times, and 4 what's are 20, that's root 5. Because the 4 is a square number, the square root of 4 is 2, because 2 2s are 4, and then you times it by root 5, and just write it like 2 root 5. Think of that as 2 lots of root 5. On to the next one, root 48, go back to your square numbers. Which is the biggest number that divides into 48? I know 4 divides into 48, but that would not be fully simplified. 16 is the largest number that divides into 48. Look out for 16. It's sometimes missed, but it usually divides into quite a lot of the surds. So double check it. So root 48 splits up into root 16 times root 3. Square root of 16 is 4 times root 3, and then we just write it like this, 4 root 3. Now remember, it's always the biggest square factor that you're looking for that divides into these surds. Okay, next example, simplify as far as possible. First thing we have to do here is multiply the surds. So root 3 times root 6 is root 18. Then you take your root 18 and split it up as before. Look for a square number that goes into 18, the biggest one you can, and that would be 9. So that's root 9 times root 2. You can simplify root 9 because square root of 9 is 3, and just write it as 3 root 2. Next we have root 2 times root 5 times root 6. So 2 5s are 10 times 6 is 60, so that comes to the square root of 60. Root 60 splits up into two factors, one of which is a square number. The only number up here that goes into 60 is 4. So it splits up into root 4 times root 15, and root 4 simplifies to 2, and then root 15, because the square root of 4 is 2. Okay, next example, some harder examples here. Multiplying out brackets. Just do the multiplying out brackets as you would normally do with x's and numbers or y's and numbers or so on, except this time we've got surds. So firstly, 2 times 3 makes 6. 2 times root 2 makes 2 root 2. Root 2 times 3 is 3 root 2. And root 2 times root 2 is root 4, which is just 2. Square root of 4 is 2. Now we can click terms up, just like we would with algebra. So we've got 2 root 2's and 3 root 2's. And we've got 6 and 2. So the 6 and 2 come to 8. Plus 5 root 2's. Okay, moving on to the next example. Same idea. Multiply the brackets as if it's algebra. So 1 times 4 makes 4. 1 times negative root 3 is negative root 3. Root 3 times 4 is 4 root 3. And root 3 times negative root 3 is negative root 9, which is negative 3. Okay, so we've got 4 take away 3, which is 1, and we've got 4 root 3's and a take away root 3, and that's 3 root 3's. Okay, last examples. These appear quite often in exam papers. What we have to do here is simplify each surd to as low as it possibly can. So root 48, we did that one before. 16 divides into 48, so that's going to split up into root 16 times root 3. You don't need to put the wee times in the middle, we can just write it like that. Root 3 is as simple as that's going to get. And 9 goes into 27, so it's square root of 9, square root of 3. And then we can simplify the square numbers of the red numbers. So that becomes 4 root 3 plus root 3 plus 3 root 3, because the square root of 9 is 3 and the square root of 16 is 4. If we treat this like 4x plus 3x, we get 8 root 3's. And finally, on to the last example, same idea, split these three surds into two factors, one of which is a square number. Always write the square number first. So let's look at a square number that goes into 45, the biggest one you can find, and it's 9. So 9 times 5 is 45. Biggest square number that goes into 20 is 4. So we've got root 4 times root 5. And finally, the biggest square number that goes into 80, again, is 16. Look out for that one. So square root of 16 times the square root of 5. 5 16s are 80. Now we have all root 5's at the end. That's looking good. You can simplify when all the roots are exactly the same. And we've got 3 square numbers at the front we can simplify. So square root of 9 is 3, so 3 root 5's. Square root of 4 is 2, so we've got 2 root 5's. And the square root of 16 is 4. So if we think about it like 3x, take away 2x plus 4x, you've got 4 and 3 makes 7, and take away 2, you've got 5 root 5's.